to break down the numbers for us. What does this tell you? What does it show?
It shows me that the effects of this trade war, Sarah, are simply not trickling to the hard numbers just yet. I mean, despite the sort of slight inflationary pressures we've seen in the sort of CPI report we got on Tuesday, people are still going out to shop. Let's pull up a graphic to show you what the numbers are. So June coming in hot. 0.6%. We expected 0.3%, so that is significantly higher than what we were anticipating. And the reason why this is important is that retail sales, consumption in this country, make up 70% of GDP. So that's a huge economic indicator as to the strength, as to the resilience of the US economy. What I found interesting, looking at, and I showed John this earlier, is that when you look at where the numbers have been so far this year over the past 6 months, I mean, they've literally bounced around, up and down, just sort of doing this dance there. And one of the reasons why is because earlier in the year, when people knew that tariffs were coming, they ran out and they went to go and get their appliances. They went to go and buy their refrigerators and their washing machines and their laundry machines in anticipation of the trade war. And then later on, last month, we actually saw a significant decline in May. Retail sales down 0.9%. And that's because, obviously, if you have already shopped for everything that you need, you don't need to go out and buy it again. So one of the reasons why economists are looking closely at the June numbers is that it sort of tells us, okay, how have things sort of leveled out after the wild swings that we saw earlier this year? The categories, I really think the categories are important. What do the categories tell us? So electronics and appliances, listen, obviously we import a lot of goods from China. That's actually slightly down. That's important to know because those are the goods that are a bit more tariff sensitive. But when you look at discretionary spending, Sarah, people going out and buying clothing and accessories, people going out to sort of food and drink, this is not actually groceries, but this is actually going out to bars and restaurants. That's also up. So discretionary spending, which is a true indicator of just how resilient the US economy, or rather the US consumer actually is, that is actually in the green. And for the life of me, we are trying to figure out why that is. How is it that we've had tariffs and we're in the middle of a trade war with pretty much the entire world? Yes, there've been stops and starts. Yeah. But yet, this economy proves to be resilient, whether you're looking at the jobs numbers, whether you're looking at inflation, whether you're looking at retail sales, the list goes on.
Yeah. What about the Fed? And, Donald Trump has been going after Powell, trying to get him to raise those, or to lower those interest rates. What will the Fed do with these particular numbers?
It's interesting because the Fed has to look at a whole bunch of numbers. And I have to say that retail sales, it's important, but it's not the most important, right? As I mentioned, some of the other numbers that they're going to look at is, of course, the non-farm payrolls, the jobs report. That is probably the most important. And when they're looking at inflationary data, they're looking at CPI, which I gave you on Tuesday. They're looking at PCE. They're looking at PPI. Retail sales is important because it is a part of GDP, right? Consumption is a part of GDP. They're absolutely going to be looking at it. I mean, look at GDP only comes out once a quarter. Retail sales comes out every month. Right. So it's a little more time sensitive. But of course, if the economy continues to heat up, if people are going out to spend, that's less of a reason for the Fed to cut interest rates.
Zain Asher, thank you so much. Still trying to figure out how all this is working right now.
As am I, darling, as am I.
All right.